Hey, I'm Molly Sims.
And I'm Emese Gormley. We're two girls obsessed with one thing, beauty.
And by that, we mean everything that makes you look
And feel
beautiful.
We're calling on our favorite health experts, industry insiders, and friends to answer all your beauty questions.
With a drink in hand.
Definitely with a drink in hand.
You're listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims.
All right, so today's episode covers one of our most listener-requested topics of all time. I know it's going to sound weird, but healing after a separation, a divorce, but it's an important topic.
Yeah, it's a heavy but important topic. And I think this episode, we're going to focus on giving women at home the resources and the motivation that they need to kind of navigate a difficult time like this.
She's a best-selling author and digital entrepreneur, and I mean entrepreneur, many businesses, known for her authentic approach for sharing her life, but also her style. She announced publicly at the end of 2023 that she was going on a different phase of her life. Jacey Duprie, we are so happy to have you. You're a powerful force on the internet, and we are so happy to have you here.
I'm a longtime follower.
We're a long time. We love. So we got
you guys, you're making me feel very good.
So Jacey has a very, very successful Substack called Basic. And if you are into Substacks, which most of our community and listeners are, you have to follow her because it's just navigating her life, her style, her kids. It's so good.
Her impeccable style, might I add.
But I got to meet her in person at an actual Substack event, which was so fun a few months ago. And so we talked her in to coming on the podcast. Okay, so your life looks a little bit different.
It does. It looks a lot different
than it did a few years ago. How has that been?
Oh my gosh. What a loaded question. It's been great. Everything's great.
Fabulous.
It's great. Everything's fine. It has been a journey, I will say. I mean, 3 years ago versus today looks black and white. It really does. I think if you followed me 3 years ago, you probably saw my feed inundated with lots of kids, lots of family, lots of kitchen dance parties. I was writing a book. I was launching a brand. I was having a baby. I was doing all the things and signing up for every committee and every project that I could think of. Just trying to fill every hole, I think, that was kind of missing.
Because you've been blogging now, and I think you're
one of the OGs.
You're the OG. You've been blogging for almost 13 years, which is crazy.
And just for those, her blog is Damsel in Dior.
That's right.
Damsel in Dior, and follow it because it's still tracks and it still holds up and it still will make you spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it's been a long time I've been doing this for sure. Yeah. So I still do the blog. Started Substack about a year ago. Just as like it just feels, I mean, you can relate. Substack just feels a little bit more accessible, I should say, less editorial and less like glossy. The blog just started to feel a little bit too produced, so to speak. So I actually started my Substack post-split. And yeah, I think it was definitely last year that we made the announcement, but it was almost 2 years ago when we actually separated.
Was it something that was ongoing? You're two different people, or were you just like, I'm done?
It was definitely something that, 16, we were together for 16 years.
Wow.
So,
that's a win.
I know. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
One of my best friends is always like, what a great
win.
accomplishment. 16 years, and we have our two beautiful children. And Grant and I are still so close and such good friends. He literally just got off the phone with me, giving me a pep talk about coming on here. So like he's still like one of my number one cheerleaders. And yeah, I feel as though it definitely was a win. I will say in the years and years leading up to, coming to this decision, this big, big choice, that was a lot of things.
And what did that look like? Because that's where my friend is now. She's like, do I stay? Do I go? She's almost like, honestly, in like purgatory because she's in neutral. She's not making steps to try to make it better, but then she's not leaving, right? She's just so staying. It's hard.
I think that one day it just hits and it's like, something snaps. And I knew that was going to happen at some point. In fact, I kept crying wolf for quite some time out loud and internally, just like something's going to give. Like I had personally given it everything I had for so long that one day it just snaps. And it wasn't a planned thing. Actually, it was a random day on the couch where I was just like, you know what? Like it just came out. It wasn't something that I had like overly thought out, which sounds crazy for a 16-year-long relationship. But I think when you just know. It's just time, just kind of like how when you want to have a baby. You're like, I'm ready. Yeah. The day just comes and you're
listen,
like, okay.
It is a win. 16 years, 2 babies later, and you can also coexist. I think, we were talking about another friend of mine, like They're good. Like, he's amazing. She's amazing. They have 3 incredible children. Like, they make it work. Again, it's not easy though. Like,
yeah, it's definitely not. And Grant was saying this on the phone actually earlier. He was like, listen, we ripped the Band-Aid off pretty quickly. It's like, how long do you want to make this process? So for some people, they want to rip the Band-Aid off very slowly and have it drag out and be like a 3-4 year long thing. But we were like, let's get the pain and the suffering over as quickly as possible, because pain is, what is that quote? Pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. I think it was something like that. So I'm like, do we want to just drag this process out and just suffer when we know the writing is on the wall? And as hard as it is, like, let's just get to it. Like, let's just get there and let's get through it together and let's be on the other side as quickly as possible.
Did you feel like when you finally said it, that like a weight lifted?
I did, for sure. And you go through like a week of a honeymoon phase where you're like, oh, I did it, I'm free. Like, and even Grant does the same way. Like, the next day I was like, wow, you're in a really good mood. He went golfing the next day. I was like, what's going on here? Something feels a little off. And then, there's phases for sure. And then there's waves. And
because it's sad.
What's been the hardest thing for you since that day?
Gosh, the hardest thing since that day. That day actually wasn't the hardest. For me, the hardest day, I think, probably was like, honestly, 6 or 8 months ago. I think as women and moms, we are constantly putting everybody else ahead of ourselves, right? I wanted to make sure, number one, that my kids were okay. And so I didn't realize I was doing this until about 8 months ago, when the grief really hit me. It really started to sink in. And I was like, everyone else is okay. Grant is okay. My kids are okay. Work is okay. Everyone's okay. Like, am I okay? And then I was like, I'm not okay.
Right.
Oh God. So for me, that was actually the hardest, I think the harder part. I thought it was going to be the kids, but as mothers, we make sure that they're okay, and they're doing great. Thank goodness. And Grant's doing great and everyone's healthy and everyone's doing okay. But the harder part was just, I think, the grief, I had every intention and every high hope of my marriage lasting forever. We never go into a partnership like that thinking otherwise, right? So I think accepting and learning how to accept the new version of myself and forgiving what I felt at times was a failure or shame for being labeled as like a divorced mom.
Which you're not.
Thanks. Learning how to accept the new version of me and, and respect her and love her. And that process was pretty tough at times, but something that you have to go through.
I think it takes a really strong person to walk away from something that on the outside can look so perfect. And I think, I live somewhere where, I'm at the age right now, I'm 46, where people are starting to wake up. And especially, I think, people that got married at a younger age. I mean, I didn't get married until I was almost 35. And
I got married when I was 90.
But
the older, the better.
But I think that, a lot of people that do get married a lot younger, my most pivotal growth in my life was hands down my late 20s, early 30s. That is when I kind of became more secure in who I am. And the people I had dated before, when I look back in hindsight,
can you imagine?
I can't. I really can't. I've grown so much. And I think that I always say this to friends of mine who are still single or who are going through things. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think that we can, in the moment, lose sight of that sometimes because fear will make us stay. Comfort. Like, there's a lot of women that are so reliant financially on their husbands. And that is the single biggest reason I think a lot of women stay. And it's a very scary prospect, especially if you've sacrificed your career, to put that on pause.
You have no money. You're financially
dependent on your husband.
It's so hard.
To me, that's like the biggest scary thing. And I think if there's, again, I'm speaking out loud, I don't know, but if there's a message I would have for, for people, it's always hold on to a little bit of something. Mm-hmm. And you did that, obviously, and you have done that.
You have your own life. You have your own career. You have your own independence, which is, when the shit hits the fan, it's really important to have a little bit of something.
My mom instilled that in me in a very early age. She was always like, you support you, period, full stop. So I'd always been that way. Forever, actually, still am. Never really been reliant. Luckily, that was just instilled in me at a very young age. I was also very young when I got married. I met Grant when I was 25, had we had no idea what we were signing up for. You know what I mean? We were like, first comes love, then comes marriage. And I just got lucky, honestly, that Grant was the one that I did marry. Because like you, I probably, could have ended up with a guy that took the dogs too. But Grant's an incredible person. And I do believe that he was the man I was supposed to make my gorgeous babies with. And he will forever be my co-parent and my friend in life. And thank God for that. A big reason why I was scared to leave our relationship was because I was scared of losing Grant as a friend. He was, he was my everything. He still is in many ways. Grant and I had this relationship, and I can't speak to his upbringing, but I have spoken publicly about mine. I'm the child of an addict. And we had this very codependent nature with one another. And we had this, like, not an anxious attachment style, but like I would literally leave and call him like the second I'd leave the house. Like we were always together. And so that for me, I was very afraid of like truly being alone and being on my own. But I just knew deep down, deep down. And as I grew and evolved and kind of stepped into my womanhood and my motherhood, I just knew it. I would just be sitting on the couch and I'm like, is it me? And so I dove into me. What can I do? What work can I do? I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah, I'm the problem, it's me. You said that you would also sign up for everything, fill the voids. Mm-hmm. What can I do? Next brand deal, next job, next, kid activity.
It broke me down for sure. And at the end of the day, it was all these things that I thought I should be doing that weren't really filling up my cup, yet I was filling everybody else's cup up. And mine was empty, And so now it really was like the last 2 or 3 years really has been less about my divorce, so to speak, but just more about creating space in my life in general. Because I not only got out of my marriage, I also divorced my brand, Wyeth, which I started 3 years ago. I'm no longer with that company.
Oh, you did? I didn't know
As
that.
of I announced it like a month ago. Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
left. No, it's honestly great. It's all great. Because these were all things that my previous version of myself signed up for. That we're not
Sometimes
really
you're just at a
feeling.
different place, in your life. And it's what served you when you were younger, or even served you 5 years ago. I was even talking about where I am. I'm like, remember when it was just the three of us? It's like, remember then, but it's not where you are now.
Yeah, people change.
Talk about because some of my friends go through this and you're like, okay, trying to be positive, but at one point, it's okay to stay in bed. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have those moments. Talk about dealing with that.
Well, it involves a lot of Uber Eats, Doritos, and hot tamales. I definitely, I'd be insane if I didn't have those moments. And I let myself just be there. Again, with the whole Band-Aid theory, I've found that my little darker moments of the last few years tend to last this is going to sound like a long time, but it's not, 4 days. For some reason, I'll have a really hard 4 days every quarter or so. And I'm just like, okay, here it is. This is it. Let's just dive right in. Let's just get there.
Let's go.
Let's feel really bad about ourselves. And I'm like an emotional cutter. I just kind of go for it. And I just dive straight in and I do extra therapy appointments that week.
Did any of it feel like it affected your health? Like it affected your being?
My health was greatly affected when I was still in my relationship. My health actually took a huge turn for the better the moment I opened my mouth. In fact, it's kind of phenomenal what happened for my health after I got out of my marriage. I was about to have a scheduled hysterectomy 2 months prior to me getting out, in which my body, I went on a big detox from all my medication, prepping for this hysterectomy. And I have adenomyosis. So TMI, if you're a man, I'm warning you now, I would have 100-day long periods, 100 days where nothing could stop it. 100
days?
100.
Oh my God.
So I was pretty much bleeding for 2 years. Again, I warned you if you're a male listener. I was pretty bad. So, and by the grace of emotion, body keeps the score, everything is totally healthy. Knock on every piece of wood in this
After
room.
that.
Yeah. That is
completely
crazy.
Normal. Very.
So you did not have your hysterectomy?
Did not have the hysterectomy. I have very regular, normal, healthy cycles now.
It's crazy. It's how powerful your mind is.
It's crazy.
We've both gone through things in the past couple of years, and it's just you can seriously make yourself sick. You can
really
make
can.
yourself ill.
I was riding myself really hard for a very long time and like punishing myself thinking I was doing something wrong or not. I don't know. I wasn't living my truest, most authentic version of myself is the truth. And my body knew that. My body was like, stop, just
was
stop.
trying to get you to stop.
Yeah, it did. It tried really hard.
Tried really, really hard.
Very, very hard.
So what would you say as a mom is sort of like finding that balance of, like you said, your dark days are like 4 days, but then you have these 2 little kids. And it's like that balance. How do you find that balance of getting through it?
The kids, what's great about the kids is that when you're with them, they take up all of your everything. So you really don't have the space to deal with anything, that's going on with you when you're with your kids. I'm just all in with them. So if I'm actually with my kids on those days, it's great. I'm like, yes, this is like, they're my focus.
It's also filling those little voids. They
give you the hug.
They give you
all you need.
With the snuggles and the snorts and all the things. Like typically the days that are harder are the days when I don't have my kids and I'm in that rut. And then they go back to their dads and it's just like the house feels really empty. Should we get a dog? I don't know. Great. I keep joking about who's going to get the dog first. But it's been easier when I'm with my kids. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I love being with them. But if I'm having a hard time, I just try to focus on their well-being.
But there's something on the other side of, separating. It's called dating.
There's a lot of silver linings. I'm not going to lie. I talk to my mom friends on the phone, like on my nights off sometimes. And I'm like, and I say off, and I'm using that term lightly, by the way, because one of my girlfriends like last year was like, oh, well, I'm a full-time mom. And I was like, that is not something you say. No. FYI, to a divorced mom. We're all full-time moms all the time.
Full-time. Everybody's
even if your babies are in another country, you're still their mom.
Yeah.
I hope you educated her. Away from my kids. I'm like, away from my children. I'll call my mom friends and they're like, oh my God, like it's Friday night. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just watching TV. And what are you going to do tomorrow? And I'm like, I'm going to wake up and read the paper. Like, I can do that tomorrow because I don't have to answer to a crying baby. Like, never fun getting a divorce. Absolutely do not ever, ever, ever want to be away from my kids. But I do get to sleep in now, which is kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. And I do not take that for granted. It's probably one of the very few silver linings. And I know where you're taking the silver linings conversation.
No, but it's good. My friends are now dating.
I love asking questions. I'm like, tell me everything. Did you have a first
going
kiss?
To Chicago next weekend.
Show me a picture. Tell me
more. Everything.
Well, I'm in an exclusive relationship with Netflix right now. And I'm enjoying it very much. I get that dating is like fun and new and exciting, but after being in a 16-year-long marriage, I'm really happy with being married to myself right now, I have to say, and not having to answer to anyone or ask someone, what do you want for dinner? So I haven't quite crossed the threshold of like, how Stella's got her groove back, Sex in the City mode. But I'll come back on when I am there.
Yes, we'll want to hear it all.
Was your childhood difficult?
My childhood? Mm-hmm. No, I actually had a really beautiful childhood. I had a rough patch in high school when my dad's drinking got pretty bad, and then the first year or so of college. But no, I had an amazing childhood.
And you grew up in Texas?
I did, on a farm with dogs and cow, like all sorts of animals that would just, stroll up on the farm. I had a really great...
That's great.
Yeah, I had a really great childhood.
And you're a great mom. And you're a full-time mom. And you're a mom who's hot and has great style, which is what we're going to talk about. Okay, so tell us everything. We're starting winter.
I know. Well,
it's fall.
We can call it that, even though it's still 80 in LA.
Yeah, exactly. So, what does every girl need right now? We're in winter. New Year's Eve is coming. New you, January. Tell us everything.
I think every girl, if you don't already have one, I think you need the Laline Marin sweater.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's such a staple.
I love a stripe.
Molly's writing it down.
As I'm wearing a stripe right now.
Yeah, like a stripe, a solid. They're great sweaters. Yep. I think everyone has to have a pair of black. I personally love the Gianvito Rossi black strappy sandals I've had in my closet for 6 years, and I always pull them out. I just bought another pair because I've worn them into the absolute ground. They're just like a classic black strappy sandal that goes with everything, and like a lower-ish heel. They're all over my blog. And I think everyone needs a good bag. I'm more of a bag girl than I am a shoe girl, personally. I think because bags, I feel like they just last longer.
What are
I
your
love your
favorite
little
bags?
row that you brought,
Thank
the Margot.
you.
What are a little tiny one?
I mean, Bottega is always a good choice. But if you're a gal on a budget, I would say I like Cuyana. I think they make really great bags.
I love
Yeah.
Cuyana. They also,
They're really
for
great.
great Christmas, holiday,
that's a great gift.
Hanukkah gifts, like
Yeah.
they have their like
The monogram, jewelry cases and stuff.
cases, the makeup
pouches,
cases.
yeah.
I love all of it.
I got everyone that last year.
I
Like the
love
little
it.
monogram jewelry cases are so sweet. My mom loved it. And I also like Little Liftner.
Yeah, I love
like
Little
that
Liftner.
brand.
What is it called?
Little Liftner.
They make really great like suede totes.
Yeah.
That are more affordable as well.
I think J. Crew has great. I was just going to say, look at that Jinx. J.
That's
Crew has
funny.
great
J.
suede
Crew.
bags
Olympia
right
has
now.
brought that back.
I know.
Olympia
I
is
mean,
definitely.
I
she
love
is-
her.
I love her. I love her
She's got
taste.
the
I love her
best
style. I
style.
love
She
everything she's done.
So my first job was at Club Monaco in PR in Canada. Her mother is Michelle Lloyd. She was the creative director of Club Monaco in Toronto
Oh, wow.
in the year 2000. And Olympia is her daughter, would come to our offices in her high school uniform outfit. And to this day, she still has the exact same hair. She looks the same. It is so crazy. But I
That's
remember
so cool.
her
That's so fun.
walking into the office and being like, gosh, this girl is so pretty.
It's in her DNA. It's
in her
blood,
DNA. And her
genes.
mom was so
She was just
chic.
born chic.
So chic.
Those people that just like roll out of bed.
What
that
are you
so-
asking Santa for? What is on your list?
Well, I have a gift guide, which I always release and selfishly include my wish list because it's funny. The people that are the closest to me in my life, like my absolute like ride or die, they're like, you're the easiest person to buy for. We go to like Target and they buy me like the most random thing. I'm like, I love it. And I'll keep it forever. It's like a random keychain or something. But then there's some other people in my life. They're like, you're the hardest person to buy for. Just tell me what. I'm like, first of all, don't give me anything. I don't need anything. Please. Just like donate to my favorite charity, which is Baby Quest. And just
Baby
like
Quest?
Baby Quest. I'm on the board there. Love Baby Quest. So yes, please donate to Baby Quest. Or you can look at my gift guide if you really want to get me something.
Okay, talk about your gift guide. Because
Yeah, what are some top items?
We're excited.
My gift guide currently, my top items. Oh my gosh, I literally just made this like 2 days ago. I actually legitimately put a Cuyana travel jewelry case on there because I wore mine to the ground because I love it so much. I'm asking for what I have a bag on there that I really want.
For like
it's
the mom, for the sports mom,
What's
like
the
you can do
bag, though?
categories.
The bag is the Loewe pouch, that like pouchy one with the drawstrings.
Yes. With the chain.
Yeah, I feel like it's just moms need crossbodies.
We loved
you know?
it. We saw it in the Short Hills
Yes.
Mall.
We just need a
couple of
crossbody
months
bag.
ago, and it was so good.
Yeah.
We
It's
love
good,
that
right?
one.
And then you
Yes.
can carry it as a clutch, but it's also the crossbody.
I love a bag that can double.
Me too. I feel like moms love their Ella Bean totes. So that's always a safe bet for any mom. If you're looking to gift to a mom. There's also that like Aura frame, which we got from my mom and my grandmother last year. It's like, it's those frames that you can send pictures to.
Oh,
I have
people
that
love.
as a skylight.
That's
so
a great gift.
It's got my calendar on it.
That's a good idea.
It's called Skylight.
And
Oh.
it's basically like the screensaver on it is pictures that
Oh,
you just
cool.
upload from your phone.
Skylight.
And then you also just tap it and your entire calendar, like it syncs to, when your kids are in
love
sports and they're
that.
older, it syncs with Team Snap.
That's actually a good idea for divorced parents.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's
You
a
can
The
have
kids are
it
living in
saved.
two houses.
Yes.
That's actually really
It's a
good.
Put it in
shared
the kitchen,
calendar.
shared
and
ca-
Oh, maybe
great.
I'll get that for Grant.
There you go. Cover your ears,
Merry
Grant.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
That's a good idea, actually. So the kids can track the co-parenting
Yeah, 'cause
schedule
my
too.
husband always used to be like, "Oh, well, you didn't update the calendar," and I'm like, "I did. You just don't open it." So now he's
What's it
just
called?
Skylight.
Skylight. Great. You guys should be sponsored by them.
In terms of like your style, how would you, because people follow you for so many reasons, but they do love your style. Like how would you, women here, they want to know what to do, where to go, what to buy, but how do you describe your
Oh
style?
my gosh, that's such a hard question when, it's you. I guess it's more, you guys tell me, I feel like it's so hard to like answer that question about yourself. I guess more classic. I really like leaning into basics and obviously repurposing things that you have. I've had everything that I'm wearing for over 2 years, except for my bag. So I really like to bring things out multiple times. And I'm a high-low. I really love mixing Old Navy with the row and
Yeah.
having it kind of all blend together. I am a mom, so I'm not going to be wearing head to toe designer to the soccer games. I'm going to be wearing just Gap and whatever,
Both of you
basic
have
stuff.
such incredible style because you do high-low so well. I think sometimes when it's all designer, I'm like, you could buy that. But when you have someone who puts it together well and can wear it, and it doesn't need to be,
They can't, it's
$10,000.
I also I remember watching you. I mean, I've literally been a true follower for years now. I remember you posting maybe about 2, maybe even 3 years ago, and you were like, I don't really wear color. And I remember you showed a picture of your old closet, which I think I still have in my phone saved for when I redo my closet.
Aww.
And you were like, I can't do color. And I was like, this is how I want to edit my closet. I did. It was very purposeful. And I think that has truly inspired a lot for me because I don't really love a ton of color. And when I wear it, it'll be like one pop.
Yeah, mine's usually red. I know my color when I want to wear it, and it's red.
Yeah.
Yellow's definitely not my color. You
can pull off yellow, but
you can pull off a marigold, like a beautiful marigold.
Brunettes are better with
I agree.
yellow or maybe
blondes are
green.
great with red.
Blondes do really well with red, right? Every time I wear it, and then it pops on your Instagram feed. You're like, all right, I got this. But I try to know what I don't do. I know more about what I don't wear than what I actually wear or gravitate towards. More about what my style isn't versus what it is, which is also, I think, equally important, right?
Yeah.
It's find out what you don't love, and it'll kind of help you edit your wardrobe. But I also love cleaning my closet. It's a thing I do probably every 2 weeks. When people come over to my house, they're always like, wait, back in the day, they were like, you're a blogger? I was like, yeah, because typically the blogger closet would just be like this chaotic, just stuffed full of stuff. And I can't do that. I have to have it very minimal.
Okay, so beauty, in terms of beauty, makeup, skin. Do you do any facials, any treatments?
I do. My favorite facialist in LA, she's kind of off the beaten path. Her name's Yumi Song. She used to go on tour with Lady Gaga. She was in the Lady Gaga documentary about her. She's not a facialist. She's a massage therapy face. I don't even know how to describe her. When I go see her, she gives my face a massage, and I have a full body meditative thing, and I walk out looking like I just got 3 years worth of Botox. It's incredible. I'm like, how did you just do that? She's a guru.
Oh, wow.
I want to try. She's
amazing. I don't think this is someone you can Google. So I'll try to think of something a little bit more Googleable, but she's fantastic. I also have been really loving using light therapy, which is something I hesitated for a while because I'm a low maintenance kind of person when it comes to beauty, but I've got my little face mask with the light LED stuff.
Oh, which one do you like?
I think it's called Glow something. It's a soft one. I'll have to look it up.
Is it Bon Charge or
Current Body?
Current Body, maybe.
Current Body's soft.
I don't know. I could probably look it up.
I'll pull it up.
There's so many. I mean, listen, I've been doing infrared forever, and I'm a firm believer just in
I love it.
Inflammation and bringing down redness and tightening. I do it a lot. I have I invested in a little mini light stem.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That you just
I love
lay
light
in your
stem.
pillow, and it's just you know.
They say it actually helps cut a cold if you have it. The infrared.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I also am a big fan of just getting a good old bucket of ice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, girl.
And just dunking your face in it.
Yeah.
It works everywhere you go. It's an international plan. You just get that bucket of ice from room service and pour some water
dunk
in
away.
it and dunk away.
What are some of your favorite beauty products?
I'm not I don't layer on a ton of product. Right now I'm using Augustinus Botter Rich Cream, and that's literally it. I'm a one-step person when it comes to...
Well, your skin looks great.
I was going to say, your skin looks great.
Thank you.
Okay, so in terms of fashion, what's next? Where do you see yourself? Do you want to take a break? Do you're I'm kind of done?
This is my retirement and
or I'm okay, we're back ready to go. Was it hard to leave West?
Yeah, it was hard to leave everything, and it's especially hard doing what I do for a living, which is basically posting about my life on social media for the last 13 years. There's nothing really special about my divorce or really, anything that I know differently than that a girl next to me that's also getting divorced, other than the fact that I just share mine online, right?
Yeah.
And navigated lots of different life moments from getting married to building Wyeth and having the babies and writing the book and now divorce. living all of that in a more public type of way, and also sharing my life on social media throughout all of that, navigating all of that has been just such a interesting journey. So I feel like the last 2 years it's been very difficult. I'm not going to lie, at times to know how much to share about what's actually going on while also processing it and living it. And looking good. Grant, of course, because he's a guy, we get divorced. He goes out, he's processing by working out and getting hotter. And I'm like, okay, Grant, and I'm over here like, my outlet is my work. I love what I do. I love sharing and building my community and talking to other moms. But I couldn't really do that because it also was like looking in the mirror too, because I didn't feel great and I didn't want to get dressed that day and I didn't want to put makeup on and like nothing was making me feel good. So then I didn't share. So then I wasn't getting that normal outlet that I usually get. So now that I'm on the other side, I'm honestly it's not so much like what's next. It's like, how am I going to continue from this point forward to set myself up for the life that I know I'm going to be like the most excited to be a part of, and the way I want to live my life moving forward with just like more, more love and creativity and openness to exploring what this incredible life has to offer. Because we're so lucky. I'm so lucky to be 41 and have
your
a
whole
whole nother shot at all of this.
A whole nother chapter.
Yeah, like how incredible. So this is just another starting point.
But don't you think, like, we talk about this a lot, like to be grateful is a really good place to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have while we've gone through a lot, we are healthy, which is the number one most important thing. That's it, really. That's all that really matters.
I know.
It is. I think sometimes, we cumulatively in this room, I think, have all gone through some significant things that have tested us and challenged us. And I always look back on the things that I know my family's gone through, and I go, you know what? It really sucked. It really, really sucked. But I also am so grateful for the perspective that it's given me, because where I used to maybe get a little bent out of shape about something so irrelevant, so not important, now I can actually take a step back and go, that is so not worth it.
Yeah.
That was so not worth my anger, my frustration, because in the grand scheme of things, it really means nothing.
It really doesn't. There's been moments the last couple of years, you guys, where I'm like, this is pretty bad. Oh my God. Like, I have to just laugh because I'm like crying, mascara. I'm on the top of my stairs of all places, just sitting there like, just having that moment, or like in my closet where I'm like, how did I get here? Like, my whole life just totally exploded, like just a bomb,
Yeah.
And sometimes I just have to look at it and laugh. I'm just like, how did this happen?
I will say the way that you speak about Grant and the relationship you have, I think is so important, because I think sometimes you see divorces go really in a direction. And I think there's a sadness that comes to me from that, especially when there's kids involved, because I think you had to love one another immensely at one point, right? And you have these beautiful children, whether it's 1 or 10 of them. So it's important for their sake to always remember that love, even if you no longer feel that way about one another. But
it's the most important thing.
But I think that's something that, I think can hold a lot of people back, because they think, oh, well, I can't co-parent with this person, or how do I move forward?
I think it takes both people making a very strong commitment to making it work for the kids.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work and individual work. And Grant and I went to couples therapy for a while. And we actually, something that we do, which maybe will be helpful for some, we have a lot of policies. We don't call them rules. We call them policies in place that kind of act as bumpers for us. Like, there's certain places that, like, when we go on dates that we're not supposed to go because it's too much of our spot. Like, Sunset Tower is one of them. I'm like, Grant, you can't go on a date to Sunset Tower, and that's like our spot, because we stayed there on our wedding night. And I love Sunset Tower, and I'm kind of bummed out, actually.
I met my husband at Sunset Tower.
It's a good special spot.
Yeah.
Dimitri's back, by the way.
I cannot believe it. Dimitri, the best.
He's the best maitre d' in LA.
Ever.
He's back at Sunset Tower.
And he knows everything about you, and we love him.
He really does. But he
really does.
Probably knows about Grant and I's policy. But we also have other policies, like we ask each other, is now a good time to talk about XYZ? That way we don't just catch each other off guard with like a money talk or a kids thing or whatever. Like, is now a good time to talk about money or
We
whatever.
need to do that with Mike and Scott.
I
It's
know.
now a good time.
It's
We
very
just
helpful.
lay it on there.
I just drop the bomb and walk
Yeah,
away.
just like,
drop
we
them.
need to talk about this. We also have code words. Bananas is a very popular one because when we're driving each other, bananas in front of the kids, or like if somebody said something that just like, why did you say that? And we start to like bicker. We do not bicker in front of the kids. We just say bananas, which means, do you want to rephrase the way that you just said that to me?
Oh, that's amazing.
You wanna try that
That's
again?
good.
But then June caught on and now she's like, you're driving me bananas. I'm like, no. But yeah, we've made it a top, it's our number one priority. And I am so grateful for that relationship. And I don't speak about it as much because we're still figuring it out. So I don't talk about it too much on social media. Plus I don't want to I don't want to annoy people or sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I really don't. At the end of the day, it's just what is working for us. And thank goodness it's working so far,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing that you're navigating it this way. And
Thanks.
he
Great.
sounds amazing.
He's an amazing dad. He's a really great person. I got very lucky to have him as a friend in all this, honestly. He's great.
All right, we do a little rapid fire here on Lipstick on the Rim. Signature scent or switch up your fragrances.
I actually don't wear fragrance.
At all?
No.
She would disown you.
We might have to have a conversation.
I have a Celine one that I like.
Ooh,
if
I
I'm
love
going to wear
Celine.
one, but I spray it really far away.
What's the best gift you've ever received?
Okay, I'm going to make this really short. My mom replaced my 16th birthday. My boyfriend at the time gave me a pink diamond ring, and it was like my biggest, most prized possession. And when we broke up, I thought I lost it, and I cried for 2 weeks because it was the first love of my life. And one day my mom said she found it in the laundry. And 3 years after that, I found the original ring. And so my mom had gone out and bought a new one, but said she just found it. So that I think is probably one of my more valued.
I love that.
What's your favorite cocktail?
Casamigos Reposado with soda and lime.
Hair up or hair down?
Down.
One thing that's always in your bag.
Usually Carmex.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
FaceTime, text, or call?
Oof. Probably call. Yeah.
We're callers.
Workout classes, gym, or hot girl walks.
Classes.
What's your favorite class?
Pilates by Amanda.
New York or LA?
Oh, man. I mean, I live in LA, so I guess that has to be my answer. But Paris?
Beach or mountain?
Oof, beach. Yeah, beach for sure.
We're excited for you. No, I mean that. You are in a good place.
Thank you.
And I'm so thankful and grateful that you shared all of this, because so many women, they want to do it. They just can't do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
It's tough, but there's life on the other side. Join me in my journey. No, it's definitely hard, but you can do anything. Women are crazy strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Crazy strong.
Okay, you can follow Jacey Duprie at Jacey Duprie, and make sure and follow her Substack.
It's amazing.
It's
I read
amazing. It's called Basic, and it's so good. And you still have your blog.
And you are not basic.
And you're not basic.
I feel
You're
very
nothing but basic.
Thank
You're
you.
gorgeous.
That's very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
You're welcome. That's a wrap. All right, you guys. Thank you.
Next
That
week.
was awesome.
See ya.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims and my ride or die, Emese Gormley. We are so excited to bring you guys along on this journey with us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Lipstick on the Rim and at Molly B. Sims. Or you can go to my blog where you can dive just a little bit deeper into my favorite products, trends, and more at mollysims.substack.com. And don't forget to check out our video episodes on my YouTube channel, Molly Sims. This podcast is a production with Sony Music. I wanted to give a special thanks to my team, Rosie Cummings, Kenna Ryan, Sophie Kevorkian, and everyone at Sony Music. Don't forget to listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on the fun.